Are you looking to buy a new toolbox and having trouble figuring out which one to buy? Are you looking at the US General toolboxes? If you said yes to either of those questions, you're going to want to stick around today because we're going to be comparing the 4 cheapest toolboxes that US General offers. That's right, we're going to be looking at the 4-drawer cart, the 5-drawer cart, the 27-inch roller cabinet, and the 42-inch roller cabinet. Now the only box that's in that price range that we're not going to be looking at is the full drawer tech cart. I don't have that cart and I don't want to make a comparison on something that I haven't put my hands on. So unfortunately, that one won't be on the channel today, but the other 4 will. Now, what are we going to be looking at? We're going to be looking at price, drawer storage capacity, and we're going to be doing a real-world test in which I take one set of tools, I put it in the smallest toolbox, I show you what that looks like through all the drawers, and then we move that same set of tools to each progressively larger box. And I hope all that information will help you make a decision on which box is right for you. Now I've decided on the 27 and 42 inch series 3 boxes here, and I absolutely love the way they look, but those might not be right for you. So stay tuned and let's get into it. Let's start with the 4-drawer cart. This is the cheapest US General tool storage option at Harbor Freight currently. It comes in at $229.99. That is the price as of July 2024. Now, one thing to be said for all of these prices that I'm going to mention, if you can be patient, you can score a coupon for any of these boxes. They've all been on sale within the last year. You can get those through parking lot sales, through weekly coupons, through Inside Track Club membership deals, or even through some of the larger 20% off any one item promotions that Harbor Freight runs a couple times a year. So if you're willing to be patient and wait for these things to come on sale, you can get them at a significantly discounted price. This box has 4,500 cubic inches of drawer storage. I did discount the open storage on the bottom. That is storage that's there, but when we're comparing these boxes to the roller cabinets and they don't have that open storage, it's apples to oranges there. The one thing I want to compare in these videos is the actual drawer storage for your tools. You most likely are not going to store loose tools down in the open storage section. You're going to store larger bulk items like blow molded cases, your specialty parts, your brake tool kits. All those kinds of things are going to go in the open storage of this box. Now, that's storage that's not available on those roller cabinets, but when we're talking about hand tool storage, that's what we're going to be focusing on in this video. So, 4,500 cubic inches for drawer storage in this cart. What does that mean? I'll show you the drawers in this box. We'll go over some of the measurements of the box, but what I'm gonna do to help you visualize what 4,500 cubic inches looks like is we're gonna put a beginner toolkit together. It's gonna have a full set of sockets, metric and standard, from 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch drive with the corresponding ratchets and extensions. It's gonna have a full set of combination wrenches, metric and standard. There'll be pliers, there's screwdrivers, there's adjustable wrenches, there's hammers, there's just the basic odds and ends that you're gonna have in a toolkit. We're gonna fill this box up, and then as we progress to the larger boxes, we're gonna take those exact tools out of this box and transfer them to the next size up. What that's gonna allow you to see is exactly how much storage you're gaining from one box to the next. The other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you the size comparisons in a cubic inches per dollar spent. What that means is I'm taking the total cubic inches of drawer space and dividing that by the price of this box at retail. This box in particular comes in at 19.5 inches cubed per dollar spent. Now, as we're talking about this, what's a better number? The more cubic inch per dollar is obviously a better thing. This box has the lowest cubic inch per dollar rating of all of these boxes. And quite frankly, that's because this box has the least amount of storage in it as far as the drawers are concerned. A couple of the other cons of this box: there are no drawer latches on this box. Now, this is a complaint I have about both the 5 and 4 drawer carts. When this lid is down, these drawers are locked. You cannot open them. As it comes from the factory, there's no way to open them. I'd have to look at the new Series 3 box. They may have added an on-off feature, but I'm gonna show you a workaround if they haven't. The only other difference that I'm aware of is the trim color, and then the boxes now have a power entry access on the top of this box so that you can pass a charger through the back side of the box. That's not currently on the Series 2 line. Now, having these drawers locked might seem like a good feature, but if you're using this as a workspace and you want access to these drawers, the only way for you to get that access is to clear this off, open this up, and pull these drawers out. That is a negative about this box in my eyes. The other negative, this box has no independent drawer latches. So the only latch on this box is when these latches here are depressed when the top's closed. So that's depressed, the drawer is locked, and you can't open it. It comes up and you can open the box. Now, there is a quick modification that you can make on these boxes. There's a rubber cover over these latches. You pull that rubber cover off, it's plastic. If there's a little piece of C-channel that drives down behind the drawers, and that's what latches them in place. If you cut that piece of C-channel off flush with the housing here, you can take that cut off, you can stick it inside this little plastic cap, and then you can stick this plastic cap back on top of that piece of C-channel. That returns this back to factory operation. You remove the plastic. Now when your drawers are closed, you're not depressing that latch in the back, and you have access to these drawers. It's a quick, simple modification. If you're gonna be using the top of this as a workspace, I would highly recommend it. The independent latching system is a con for me on this box. As you'll see, when we put screwdrivers down on the top of this box, there's openings up here for you to slide screwdrivers or pry bars. The handles stick up above the top of this box. What does that mean? It means you can't close this. When you can't close this, you can't latch this. So if you're rolling this thing around in your garage and you don't have perfectly flat, level concrete, or you got chips in your concrete and this thing's bouncing around, these drawers slide open, especially when you have enough weight in them. They slide very easily. So that is a concern of mine. The 5-drawer cart does have an independent latching system, so when this is open, these drawers will stay latched. So that is a unique feature of the 4-drawer cart, and one of the things that I think is the bigger downfalls of this specific tool cart. The other thing is the assembly of these boxes. Now, I bought this box used, this box and the 5-drawer tool cart, both used off Facebook Marketplace. These carts are abundantly available on Facebook Marketplace. You can get them for far cheaper than the new price, and often you can get them cheaper than the new sale prices. So that's something to consider as well. If you're on the fence about one of these carts, maybe look at the used market, pick one up cheap, use it for a couple months, and if you don't like it, you can turn around and flip it for hopefully the same price you bought it for. These top toolboxes are pretty heavy. They're pretty difficult to maneuver by yourself. When you actually assemble the legs and the base and then try and bolt this cart on, it's kind of a two-man job. One guy can do it, but it's not very convenient. So that's something to consider. There is not hardly any assembly with the roller cabinets, and we'll go over that when we talk about those. So I am mentioning assembly on this box and the 5-drawer box as a potential negative. What are the pros of this box? Well, to me, the biggest pro is this is a budget-friendly box. You can get this box for under $200 if you're patient and you wait on a coupon. If you buy it used, you can get these boxes on Facebook Marketplace all day long for 150 bucks. You just have to be patient for one to pop up and be ready to purchase it when it does. That pretty much covers the pros and cons, the price, and the amount of storage of this box. Let's take a look at the drawers in this box. First thing to mention is this is an accessory. It's a magnetic accessory. It's one of the nice things about the US General line is they're color matched accessories, but this is not part of a box when you purchase it. Likewise, this shelf is also an additional accessory that has to be purchased separately. So this does not come with the box either. I'm just showing you as these are possible options for your tech carts. Now, opening up this box, let's take a closer look at that latching system here. So I'm gonna pull this off, and this is that piece of rubber I was talking about. If you look down in there, you can see I've stuck that piece of metal that I cut off, and you can see what I'm talking about here, where I cut this bar off flush with a grinder and a cutoff wheel, and then I stuck that piece of cutoff down in this plastic so I could remove these, throw these in the top of the box, and that allows me to use these drawers even when the top is latched. All right, let's start with the top box here. What I've done is I've put all of the 3/8 and the 1/4 inch standard and metric socket sets up here. So these are Tecton complete no skip sets. So they are a little bit on the larger side. Some of your more standard kits, maybe like the Quinn line that you get from Harbor Freight, do have skips, and the socket sizes might not be as big on a socket bar as these are. I've got the full complement of 3/8 and 1/4 inch ratchets up here, extensions, a tape measure, a pry bar and a nut driver, and then a few screwdrivers over here. Now look at the height of these screwdriver handles on the side of this box. These are not special screwdrivers or anything. These are just Milwaukee screwdrivers like a lot of you will probably have at home. So consider that, because now you'll see this box does not fully latch. So you're gonna end up with this top open most of the time. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of that. I do a lot of welding and grinding in my garage. You end up with a lot of metal dust in the top of your box and all over your tools. So that's one reason that I'm moving away from the 5-drawer cart and moving towards roller cab for my tool storage. Maybe it's not a big deal to you. Maybe you're not doing a lot of fab work like that, but also consider woodworking, things like that you're gonna do in your garage. When your box is open and your tools are in the top of the box, they're gonna get dirty. Moving on down the drawer here, we've got a full complement of pliers and vice grips in here. This is what I consider like what a beginner would probably have in their tool set. Basic pliers and vice grips in here. And I've laid them out so that you can see everything that's in the box. And I personally like to have tools organized so I know each tool has a spot. I take something away and I know there's an open spot, there's something missing. It's totally fine to load these drawers up. I just don't like digging through my drawers. So I think this would give a little bit better visual representation of what this box can hold. Ball peen hammers, Allen set, a multi-tool, the meme tool, if you know what I'm talking about, and a set of drill bits. Down a drawer here, we've got our full set of combination wrenches, standard and metric, as well as a couple adjustable wrenches here. Most guys are probably also going to have a set of ratcheting wrenches, so consider that. This box is already getting tight, this drawer's getting tight, and this is with vertical wrench storage. If you're laying your wrenches flat, you're going to have a lot less storage in here. Of course, if you're just piling them in there, that's not going to be an issue. You're going to have plenty of room for that. I just like to be a little more organized than that. And then lastly, in this bottom drawer, I've got the 1/2-inch impact sockets, torque wrench, extensions, a big breaker bar, a couple 1/2-inch ratchets, and a lot of guys nowadays are going to have power tools. So I did throw a 3/8 impact in there just to show that if you organize your box right, you can make these things fit. Now, if you don't have a set of 1/2-inch, if you're not going up that large, that kind of gains you a whole nother drawer down here. Maybe you've got more power tools. You've got a drill, you've got a drill driver, a 1/2-inch torque wrench, as well as a 3/8. This is all the tools we're gonna transfer directly to the 5-drawer box after we're done reviewing that box. Moving on, the US General 5-drawer cart. This guy is probably the most popular tool storage item that US General sells. You see these things all over the second-hand market. They're out there, they're available. So if you're considering one of these, I highly recommend you check Facebook Marketplace. As guys move up to larger tool storage boxes, these things become available all the time. So just keep an eye out if you're thinking about it. Of course, if you want a brand new one, I understand that too. Go get yourself a brand new one. These boxes start at $279.99, so that's a $50 step up compared to the 4-drawer cart. With that comes more storage. This box has 6,900 cubic inches of storage. That comes out to 24.6 cubic inches of storage per dollar spent. That's an improvement over the 19.5 cubic inches of storage per dollar spent on the 4-drawer cart. One of the pros of this box is the depth of the storage in this box. This box comes in at 19 inches deep. I misspoke on the 4-drawer cart. I think I said 17. That tool cart is 16 inches deep. So there is a 3-inch gain in depth in this box, and it's noticeable. Another pro for this box is it is budget friendly. At $279, this thing goes on sale. It can often be had for less than $225. Sometimes I think it even gets closer to that like $199 mark. That might be a little more rare these days. I know in the past you'd frequently see it on sale for $199. I do consider the availability of this box to be another pro. Like I said, they're available on the used market. They're out there for purchase, even being lightly used. One of the cons of this box, it only has 5 drawers. Now that's a step up from the 4-drawer cart, but when we're comparing it against the roller cab, I have to consider that a con. You still got that open storage, and the same thing I said about the open storage in the 4-drawer cart applies to the 5-drawer cart. And again, the assembly of these boxes. This box is even heavier than that 4-drawer cart. It's a little larger. Like I said, it's 3 inches deeper. Both carts are 30 inches wide, so they're the same width. So the real key difference is in the height. This box is a few inches taller and it's a few inches deeper. That makes this box slightly heavier. It really is probably going to be a 2-person job to assemble this box. Moving on and talking about the storage in this box. Again, this has the open top of the cart. And again, we have a similar function here. As this top is closed, these drawers do have latches on them, but even when you unhook the latch, these drawers are now locked. So anytime the top is down, the drawers are locked. The nice part about that is security, right? So if you are a technician, you're a guy that's just looking to get started, you're looking for a first cart to do oil changes, tire changes, whatever you're doing, these are great boxes to start because they do have a lock on them. You can secure the top, and then your drawers are very secure. The con of that is, again, if you're using this as a workspace, which a lot of guys do, flat space equals storage or workspace. It's like that in every garage. If you're using this as a workspace and now you find you need something out of the drawers, guess what? Clear this thing off before you can get anything out of the drawers. That is unless you make the same modification that we talked about on the 4-drawer cart. It is possible to pull these things off, cut your latch, and then if you ever want to, you put the cutoff back in here and you stick it back on the latch. One other feature that this cart does come with is the little tray that's down here. That's great for throwing WD-40, aerosols, brake clean, those types of things on there. That's a nice little storage feature add-on. This side cart is an accessory. It does not come standard with the cart, but it is a nice feature. If you want to use a workspace, you can buy one, you can buy two. You can make this thing super wide. That way when you are having to get in here, you've got a spot where you can clear your tools off to the side shelf here and open up your drawer. You can put a laptop on here if you're troubleshooting electronics or anything like that. So nice little add-on feature. It's not included in that $279.99 though. Let's get this cart loaded up with tools and let's take a look at how much more storage space we have in this cart versus the 4-drawer cart. All right, I just made a discovery about these boxes, so I'm still learning about them even as I'm making this video. Even though these boxes are both 30 inches wide, okay, and I'm gonna throw the tape measure on it real quick so you can see this. Across the top of this box, slightly larger than 30 inches here. It's 30 1/4, really. Across the top of this box, we are dead on 30 inches on the top of this box. So the legs of this box are also 2 1/4 thick compared to 1 3/4 on this one. This is far and away the heavier duty box, but because there's a 1/4 inch wider on the top, the legs are narrower. What that equates to is a slightly larger drawer width. And I just learned this just now because I went to put my breaker bar, which fit in this box, which is 26 inches wide, into the bottom of this box, and it would not fit across because this box is an inch narrower. It's at 25 inches. So that's a thing to consider. If you have larger items, larger than 25 inches, they're not gonna fit inside the 5-drawer box straight across. Really, that's only gonna matter for large extensions or pry bars. But an interesting point, despite them both being claimed as 30-inch wide carts, there are slight differences in the drawer sizes. Let's take a look at the storage here. What I'm now able to do with the additional space here, I've got my full socket set up here, 1/2, 3/8, and 1/4 inch are all up here. I've got my 3/8 and 1/4 inch drives and extensions up here. I was not able to also fit my 1/2 inch drive. One thing you potentially could do is you could drill these out a little bit larger, these holes down here. These holes are slightly larger than the ones in the 4-drawer cart. So they are an option for larger pry bars and things like that, as opposed to the 4-drawer cart. The other thing to notice is now look that we've got more depth in the top of this box. So now we no longer have issues closing this box even with standard screwdrivers. So that's a issue that's fixed by the 5-drawer cart system. This box allows for us to get all of our sockets in the top, and that's how I see these boxes used most frequently. The same as our other cart, I put the pliers in here, but now look, this is where that extra 3 inches of space comes in. We've got a little extra space up here. We could put another pair of pliers or two in there. Moving down one drawer, look at that, a full empty drawer. Now it's the same tools that were in the other box. We've gained a drawer. In our deep box, we've got our hammers, we've got our torque wrench, we've got the drills, the multi-tool, and our Allens, and we've got plenty of space for other things. The way I previously used this box, I had a plier organizer. So all my pliers were vertically arranged in here. I love that use of this space, but I'm trying to keep it apples to apples comparison, so I didn't put that in there for now. Moving down a drawer, just as in our other box, this is our wrench drawer, and you'll notice what we gain out of this box is some additional space up here. That's that additional 3 inches, right? Before, it was pretty tight here and we just had this little triangle of space. Now you're getting closer to where if you rearrange these on the organizer bar a little bit differently, you can actually get another set of ratcheting wrenches in here. And that's how I had mine organized. I had all my metrics on one side, combination and ratchet wrenches. Same thing with standard and then ratchet wrenches on the other side. So it is possible to get 2 full sets of wrenches in here, ratcheting and combination, both standard and metric. And then moving down to the bottom box, tons and tons and tons of space left. So you quickly see how much more storage is in this 5-drawer cart versus the 4-drawer cart. Despite them being close in dimensions, that extra depth and that little bit of extra height make a world of difference in this box. So that is why I consider, if you are even remotely considering the 4-drawer cart, I think it's worth it to pony up the extra 50 bucks and buy the 5-drawer cart. If you don't want to spend the extra 50 bucks on a new one, I would lean towards buying a used 5-drawer cart. These carts are super popular. They're always available for sale online on Facebook Marketplace. You gotta be a little bit less picky about colors, right? Because US Journal has great colors. And that applies to all these boxes. They've expanded their color lines. Pretty much any color you want, they make it. So that is one area if you're buying used. That's why I have one orange box and one green. I couldn't find a green 4-drawer cart at the time. All that said, at this point, I consider the 5-drawer cart to be superior to the 4-drawer cart. Doesn't mean the 4-drawer is not a good cart. Like I said, if you're a person who you know the tools you have, you know you're limited, you're not gonna expand your tool set and everything will fit in that 4-drawer cart, perfectly fine option. It takes up slightly less space in your garage. If at any point though you're thinking of adding more tools, you gotta consider the 5-drawer cart. The 27-inch Series 3 rolling cabinet. The one thing that you'll notice is I don't have the top cabinet on this, and this is one of the pros I think of the Series 3 line. US General is the only company that I'm aware of that is making a modular tool system. We have to start thinking about these toolboxes in a different way than we think about other lines of toolboxes. I bought a 42-inch and a 27-inch cabinet. These cabinets are designed to be used with one another. In fact, they've got bolt holes drilled in the side of them and they come with bolts to where you can bolt your cabinets together. It allows you to customize the toolbox to the space you have. Of course, you can use this box as a standalone box. And the reason I mention this is because you might be thinking, those roller cabinets are 27 inches wide, whereas the roller carts are 30. Why would I buy a smaller width cart? Well, for one, this box is 22 inches deep. That's yet again deeper than both the 4 and the 5-drawer cart. The 5-drawer cart was 19 inches. This is now 22. We're an additional 3 inches deeper. I think that's 6 inches deeper over the 4-drawer cart. If at any point, let's just say you know that you're gonna be using tools and you're gonna be significantly expanding your tool option, but this cart will hold all your tools today, I think this is a great option to buy because what you can do, you can buy another one of these 27s, you can bolt them together, and now you've got a 54-inch cart. You can buy a 42 like I did, and now you've got a 69-inch wide roller cabinet. And then on top of that, if you've got 2 of these carts, you can put one upper cabinet on one set, or you can leave the other side off. You've got a workspace and an upper cabinet. It just makes these things so much more modular, so much more usable and more customizable. Maybe there's other toolboxes out there that have that functionality, and I'm not aware of them. You guys have to let me know down in the comments. But I think this is a serious advantage of the Series 3 line. Now, things to consider. The 42 and the 27-inch roll cabinets have the same size casters and are the same height. So right out of the box, you can mix and match those roller cabinets. You can bolt them together. You can buy any combination of them, of the lower cabinets, and bolt them together. The 56-inch and 72-inch models are different casters on those boxes. The cabinet sizes are the same. The caster sizes are different. That becomes a problem if you want to marry these things together, right? So if I wanted to buy this in the 56-inch roller cabinet, I'd have to put a spacer in these casters, or I believe it is an option that you can purchase a set of the 56-inch toolbox casters and bolt them onto this box. That is one downfall. I understand why they had to do it. The 56 and the 72 are large boxes. They're going to hold a lot of tools, and they required heavier duty casters. They did not put those casters on these boxes to save money, and that's one area where I almost wish they would have just shot for the moon and gone a little bit overboard. That way it requires no modification for any of these boxes. At any rate, the boxes are the same depth and the same height from all across the entire Series 3 line. That means you can buy any end locker, end cabinet, anything like that, and it's gonna be functional in any Series 3 box. Great, great, great feature from Harbor Freight and US General. This box comes in at $399.99. That's a $120 increase over the 5-drawer cart. We're talking about a significant step up in price. Why is that? Because this box is narrower, but it is deeper and it is taller, slightly taller. Actually, I take that back. I think the 5-drawer cart and this cart are the same height. This is taller than the 4-drawer cart though. Well, it's the increase of the full bank of drawers. There's more hardware, there's more metal in this thing. This thing is significantly heavier than the 5-drawer cart is. The 5-drawer cart, just as a reminder, 6,900 cubic inches of storage space in the drawers. This box, 10,900 cubic inches of storage space. A huge increase in drawer space in a toolbox. So again, I say if you're not gonna be using the tech carts as tech carts and you're using them as primary boxes, that's where I think maybe consider investing slightly more money and looking at the roller cabinets. That comes out to 27.25 cubic inches per dollar. The 5-drawer cart, as a reminder, was 24.6. So again, more value per dollar in storage space in this box than there is in either the 5 or the 4-drawer cart. A slightly, not quite as big of a jump from 4 to 5 as it is from this cabinet down to the 5, but there is still an increase in value there. So, pros, drawer layout. One difference between the Series 3 and the Series 2 boxes is the drawer layout. They've gone to this deeper top box here for your sockets, things like that. That is an improvement from Series 2 to Series 3. So I consider that a pro for this specific box. Another pro, as we talked about, the fact that it's modular, can be used across all Series 3 lines. One con, if you're going to use this box as a standalone box, it is on the smaller side. So know the tools you have, know what your plans are, or how you want to expand. Again, as I said, if you know your tools are going to fit in this box, and you know over time you're going to buy a few tools here, a few tools there, you know you have the option to either add an upper cabinet or a lower cabinet alongside of it. So I think that's a huge plus, but as a standalone box, that is maybe the downside of this. It's a narrow box for ultimately the price you're paying for this roller cabinet. Moving on to the drawer system here, rather than having the latch on one side, like I said, the Series 3 boxes now have a latch system where you can grab anywhere on this box, unlatch and open this box up. You can feel the quality of the sliders on these boxes has been improved over the cart system. I think the latch system is going to take me a little time to get used to. Right out of the box, the sliders are a little stiff on these, and I thought I was having problems with the latch, but really it was the drawers sticking because they need to just be worked in, operated a few times. Now that I've opened and closed them a few times, and I'm getting used to this kind of latch bar, I do like the fact that I don't have to go fumbling around looking on one side or the other for a single latch, finger latch. So that is kind of a nice feature. We've got the tall drawer here. We've got a set of 4 narrow drawers and then 2 more deep drawers down at the bottom. Okay, to me, this is where things really start to get interesting. And you're gonna see just how much more drawer capacity we have versus the 5-drawer cart. So let's start off with the top drawer. Even though this drawer is narrower, it is deeper and it does provide nice storage for these complete socket sets. I've got all my sockets in here, and then I've got my little multi-tool in there as well. So these are the full-length Tecton holders, and they just fit. If I had to, I could cut these tags off. They do rub in the drawer a little bit, but they're really like a perfectly snug fit in this drawer. So that's actually super nice. All my sockets right there. Now you'll notice I don't have my ratchets in here. That is due to having slightly less width in this box. But right below the sockets here, another thing I'm going to say is this is not necessarily the way I would organize my box, but I'm doing this to kind of show a point here. I've got all my ratchets in here. Obviously, this box being narrower, I can't fit my large pry bar in this either depth-wise or horizontally, so we had to put it in here diagonally. I probably wouldn't put my hammers with my ratchets and things like that, but I'm doing this to show you just how much more storage there is. There's still room in this drawer if we organize this a little better. If we moved this out of the box, there's plenty of more storage in this shelf, so I don't consider this to be a full drawer by any means. Move down one. Now this is kind of another example. Screwdrivers, pliers, you've got room to expand your screwdrivers and pliers significantly. Not to mention we have multiple empty drawers. So if you are like most guys and you have all your pliers in one drawer, consider that with what I've got here, you still got another half a drawer full for different types of wire cutters, strippers, things like that. So tons and tons of storage in this box. Moving down, we get to our wrenches here. This is a consequence, again, of the box being narrower. I'm not going to cut this holder down just for this demonstration. So obviously, if this was my permanent box and this was the permanent location for these, I could cut this holder down, move these wrenches flush, and I have plenty of room, like just as in my other boxes, for another set of wrenches in here. Not significantly improved wrench storage necessarily versus the 5-drawer because of that less width, but you do have the added depth, so maybe an extended size that you can get a few extended, extra, longer, larger wrenches in here, maybe the long reach wrenches. Now, from there, empty drawer, my one power tool. So all kinds of room for air tools, power tools, whatever it may be. And then a whole nother empty drawer down here. So we've got 1, 2, basically 3 completely empty, a half filled and 2 maybe half filled. So you got essentially like an additional 4 drawers of storage versus the 5-drawer cart. Lots of room for expansion. If you are maxed out on a 5-drawer cart, this 27-inch box might be all you need to step up to. Again, it's considering your needs and how much you're gonna expand your tool line. If you're a guy like me, you're constantly buying tools. Even if it's a small job, it's better to buy it now and not need it later. I'm just a tool nut, so I buy tools and buy tools and buy tools. So I always advocate for buying more tool storage than you need today. If you're buying exactly what you need today, tomorrow you're going to be out of storage. You can now start to see where the extra drawers are really adding up storage space wise. The next box size up in the Series 3 line, the 42-inch US General Series 3 roller cabinet. This box is a step up from everything else that we've been looking at. This is starting to get into being a more serious toolbox, especially when you pair it with the upper cabinet. Now, I'm not doing that because I like having a workbench space, especially in a small garage where I don't have a lot of flat spaces to work. This box is going to provide you with a ton of storage, and again, being modular, the ability to bolt on a 27-inch cabinet or even another 42-inch cabinet onto the side of this thing. Additionally, there's 15 and 22-inch lockers that you could bolt, one on each side. Maybe you buy one. Those are a little bit on the cheaper side, so maybe you buy one when you need the extra storage and then buy the other when you need more. Again, being modular, it's a huge positive for these boxes. This box comes in at $599.99. This is a $200 step up from the $399 box, the 27-inch roller cabinet. That's significantly more investment in a toolbox than anything else we've seen so far. I consider definitely those first 3 boxes to be entry-level boxes. This is starting to become more of a serious box. This box at $599.99 is a steal, I think, for the quality of what you're getting, the functionality, the being modular, the color selections. You're not going to find that in almost any other toolbox line at that price point. That said, I bought this box and the other box with 20% off coupons. So now we're talking a sub $500 box. Steal. Absolute steal for this box. You can find the Series 2 boxes in the 42-inch width. I believe they may have been called 44-inch width, and that included the handle. So a little bit of cheating on Harbor Freight's part there. But the drawer configuration is different. And what I was seeing in the used market, you can find them for sub $400, but you better be ready to buy it now the second you see it, because they weren't lasting long on Facebook Marketplace. There's a few of these Series 3 boxes out there. I see them for $500. To me, that's not a deal, because when the 20% off coupons come, you can get a new one for cheaper than $500. So these being relatively new boxes, they're less than a year old. It's going to be just harder to come by these boxes on the used market. So really heavily consider the Inside Track Club if you shop at Harbor Freight a lot, or just waiting for one of those 20% off deals. Usually you have to be a member of the Inside Track Club to get those types of deals though. So 16,700 cubic inches of storage in this box. That is 6,000 cubic inches more than our 27-inch box. That puts us at 27.8 cubic inches per dollar spent at retail value for this box. That is only a minimal step up from the 27-inch roller cabinet. The 27-inch was 27.25 cubic inches per dollar. This one's 27.8 cubic inches per dollar. We're talking slightly more value here, but that's why we see the big price increase with the big storage increase. It's a more of a linear increase as you get to the larger size boxes. We're getting some advantage in cubic inches per dollar, but just due to the general size of the boxes, it's less of an increase in value. The pros, again, the dollars per storage, it's the best in class for all of these boxes. The drawer layout, you've got two full-length drawers here. That's huge. That's you're going to be your socket and your ratchet drawer, and then your wrenches. As many wrenches as you can think of in that box. Unless you're a professional, obviously you may have more than that. But we're getting beyond storage for a set of combination wrenches and a set of ratchet wrenches. Now we're talking about specialty wrenches, long reach wrenches, some of the crow's feet wrenches, all the little other things that you could buy, specialty wrenches you could buy. That's what you're going to be able to store in that wrench drawer. And then you've got the full complement of smaller drawers below that. So that's a big plus. Again, being modular, I think is a plus. Cons of this box, clearly the price. I think it's worth the price. Like I said, I think it's a steal. But if you're on a budget, this might not be the box for you. You might want to start with that 27-inch box. That might get you through while you can save for a year. And then buy the larger box to complement your 27-inch box. Now you got a huge box. At a cheaper price, I believe, or very close to the same price as the 56-inch box. So that's another thing to consider. I think it is slightly more to buy the 27 and the 42 than it is to just buy a straight 56. My problem with the 56-inch box and the 72-inch box is both of those boxes have a full-length drawer on them. I don't need a 56-inch long full-length drawer personally. I don't have that many sockets. I think now we're getting into a position where, for me as a hobbyist, that box is creeping more into the semi-professional, far more specialized sockets, wrenches, and things than what I personally have. So I think this layout of having a 42-inch full-length drawer and then a 27-inch drawer right alongside of it is the best layout for me. Now I'm talking about combining boxes versus buying increasingly larger boxes. So yeah, I do think the price is a con, and it's going to be a major consideration for you. The other complaint I have about all of the Series 3 roller cabinets. Right now, US General does not sell an off-the-shelf countertop for any of these boxes. I think that is a mistake. I think they should be selling stainless steel tops that you can purchase separately, wooden tops. I mean, wooden, big deal. You go buy a piece of plywood, right? But even if they sold a laminated one, something like that, I think that is an area that they could capitalize on. It's just another accessory for these boxes. I think they could even sell them in the specialized length. Say you have a 42 and a 27, you can order one in that full length that would sit across the entire set of boxes when they're bolted together. So I think that's a little bit of a negative for me. I don't necessarily want to work directly on top of the box. I want to, if I'm spending this much money on it, I want to keep it nice. I don't want to be getting a ton of chemicals all over the top of it. That said, you do get this chemical resistant mat on the top. It's a nice mat, but like I said, I don't personally want to be working directly on top of my toolbox. So I will be making countertops for these boxes. So that would be the one con I can think of. Now, I have not worked out of these boxes at all. So I'm a little short on the cons for the 27 and the 42. I'm sure as I use them more, I'll come up with some things. But if that happens, if I find something that is just a real negative about these boxes, I'll be sure to update and pin those comments to this video. So over time, if you're watching this a month or a year after I put this video out, if you don't see any pinned comments up there, it's probably because I don't really have anything negative to say about these boxes. Let's take a look inside this box and see exactly how much storage we have. One other feature I didn't mention, the top drawer on this box and all of the lower deep drawers on the 42-inch box have double sliders on them. That's huge when we're talking about putting all the extra weight of things like sockets in there. Comparatively on the 27-inch box, only the very bottom drawer has double sliders. So keep that in mind for that box. It's not quite the same as this 42-inch box. But in here you can see we've got our full complement of sockets, we've got all of our ratchets and extensions, and we've got room for some expansion. We can actually put a few more things in here. I do have my long breaker bar in there, torque wrench. So all kinds of things in here. We've got room to grow into this box. Going down a drawer for the wrenches. This one is big time to me. Look how much more wrench storage we have. I can be much more efficient with my storage space here, and we could get multiple sets of wrenches in here. So lots of room to expand into this box. By no means are either of these two top drawers full. Moving down a level, our first narrow drawer here, room to expand. This is my pliers and my screwdrivers. This is what we consider a beginner's set of tools. Lots of room to expand, to grow into this box. Similarly here, I've got my hammers, Allens. This is more of just kind of like a simple catch-all drawer. Now, the only other drawer I have tools in is one of these larger drawers for my power tools. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drawers essentially unused, plus extra space in every single drawer compared to when we started all the way back with our 4-drawer carts hiding back there. We had that box pretty close to maxed out. So yes, you're talking about a huge price increase, but it's knowing the tools you have and where you're going with your tools. Are you expanding? Are you gonna be adding tools? It might be worth it now to buy a larger box rather than start with a 4-drawer box and then eventually have to move up and buy another box. The one advantage of that is you can always sell the other one. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do with my 4-drawer cart. That thing's gonna go on Facebook Marketplace and I'm gonna sell it, earn back a little bit of my money that I spent on these 2 new boxes. That's gonna wrap up the review of these 4 boxes. Let me know what you think. That's a lot of information to digest, but I hope it's useful. I hope it helps you make a decision. Let me know, what box are you using? What brands do you like? US General is not the only option. I'm doing this video because that's what I have. And I'm by no means saying it's US General and nothing else. Last time I was in Home Depot, as a matter of fact, they had a number of Husky boxes at incredible prices. I think they're trying to close out last year's line. They had 42-inch boxes, top and bottom cabinets for like 600 bucks. That price is unbeatable. You're not gonna touch that. Even the Harbor Freight boxes don't touch that. Small step down in quality. You gotta consider that, and you're only getting black. So maybe color doesn't matter to you. But again, I think that's what makes the US General line so unique. Now it's customizable, right? Not just by color, but by the modularness of the boxes and the things you can add on to them. I think the Series 3 is a great platform. I think if you're considering that down the line you're gonna need an increased amount of storage space, I think either a 42-inch or a 27-inch box is a great place to start. That does not mean that I don't think the tech carts are great carts and they are really good beginner carts, because for the money, I just don't think you're gonna find that quality and that amount of storage anywhere else. So 5-drawer cart, great cart. 4-drawer cart, me personally, I would avoid the 4-drawer cart. I just don't think there's enough advantages for the $50 increase up to the 5-drawer cart. That's my personal preference. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, but I hope maybe these insights help you make a decision. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like. If you found this information useful, consider subscribing. I'd be really appreciative. Plus, you get to see the cool truck I'm building right now. So I'm working on a 1975 Ford F-150. We're doing kind of a patina resto mod truck. It was my grandfather's old work truck. It's a really cool project. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I got playlists. We did a full long bed to short bed conversion on this truck, a full chassis build, all brand new stuff in the chassis, all new QA1 parts, all new Wilwood brakes. It's going to be a real hot rod. I'm really looking forward to finishing that project, and I hope you guys are enjoying watching it. All that said, remember guys, if you're not working on your projects, they will not work on themselves. Get out in the garage, use your new toolboxes, get building, and I'll see you on next episode of Cody Builds.